Hey, and welcome back to the fundamentals of fitness. Let's get honest for a second. When did eating get so complicated? Because once upon a time, food was just food. You ate breakfast, you had lunch, you enjoyed your dinner, and if you were lucky, someone's nan gave you a biscuit and a cup of tea. But now it feels like every meal needs a PhD. We've got keto, paleo, intermittent fasting, juicing, detox teas, and people on the internet are trying to convince you that carbs are the enemy, fruit's full of poison, and lettuce is basically a superfood wrapped in guilt. It's exhausting, right? So if you've ever stared at your fridge thinking, what am I allowed to eat these days? This episode is for you. So let's cut through the noise and talk about how to eat like an adult, not like an algorithm. Pop on them trainers and grab that cuppa, let's go. Okay, let's have a real talk about food. Because in all my years of coaching, I've realized that nutrition isn't actually the problem. It's the confusion around it. Everyone's trying to eat right, but the rules keep changing. And every time a new influencer, diet, or detox comes along, we're told everything we've ever done is wrong. But here's the truth. Food doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to survive on kale and regret. And you definitely don't need to punish yourself for enjoying a slice of pizza. I'll tell you a bit about my own journey with food. Like every vegan, we tell you we're vegan. And I know for some people that sounds like a full-time job already. But when I first switched, I had to learn how to fuel properly. Because being vegan doesn't automatically mean you're healthy. Just like eating chicken and rice every day doesn't automatically make you shredded. I had to figure out how to get enough protein, how to balance my carbs and fats, and how to make sure my performance didn't dip. It took trial and error, but what I learned was simple. I eat to fuel my body for the things I want to do. I eat for performance, strength, energy, and recovery, not punishment. And yes, sometimes that means a colourful high-protein bowl full of veggies. And sometimes it means a plate of chips and beans and dark chocolate for afters. Because I'm human and balance matters. I see it all the time with my clients. Someone says to me, Alison, I'm eating clean, I've cut out my carbs, I'm snacking on rice cakes, and I only eat after 12 p.m. because that's what TikTok said. And I just have to laugh, kindly, because they're trying so hard to do the right thing, but they're drowning in misinformation. Nutrition has become this moral battlefield where food is labelled as good or bad. But food isn't moral. It's not out to get you. A donut doesn't make you a bad person, and a salad doesn't make you a saint. What matters is how all of it fits into your bigger picture. So why do we overthink food? And the reason for so many people overthinking food isn't because they're lazy. It's because they care. They want to do it properly, and they want results. But the internet has made food seem like rocket science. You've got one person shouting, carbs make you fat. And another saying, eat carbs after 8 p.m. and you'll burn more fat. And another insisting that never eat fruit because sugar is evil. It's no wonder that people are scared to eat a banana. So here's what I tell every client. Food is information. It's not just calories, it's communication. Your body doesn't care about fads, it cares about nutrients. Now this part is important. I don't eat perfectly every day, and I don't expect my clients to either. Perfection doesn't exist in nutrition. I'd rather you aim for consistency than chase perfection. That means prioritize protein. Eat the rainbow, colourful fruits and veg. Get enough carbs to fuel your training. Include fats for hormones and brain health. And most importantly, enjoy your food. And if you can do these things 80 to 90% of the time, you're doing brilliantly. I once had a client tell me she felt guilty for eating pasta. Pasta! The same food that fuels marathon runners. We had to completely reframe that guilt because food shouldn't make you feel bad. It should make you feel capable. You don't need to earn your meals. You don't need to burn them off. And you definitely don't need to live in fear of bread. For a lot of people, food ties into identity. I'm being good today, or I've been bad this week. We say these things without even thinking. But here's what I want you to remember. You're not good or bad based on what you eat. You're a human trying to fuel your body that does amazing things. Food is fuel. Food is joy. Food is connection. And the thing that gives you energy to train, to think, to parent, to work, to live. So before we jump into the science of fueling, I want you to think about this. What kind of relationship do you want with food? Do you want one built on fear and restriction, or one built on nourishment and strength? Because when you eat to support your body instead of punish it, that's when everything starts to click. All right, let's talk a little science, but don't worry, I'll make it fun for you. Because once you understand how your body actually works, all the weird food rules you've ever heard suddenly start to sound ridiculous. So let's start with the basics. Your body is an energy system. Everything you eat, whether it's a salad, a donut, or a protein shake, it's fuel. And food isn't emotional, moral, or magical. It's energy. And that energy fuels you, your workouts, your walks, your thinking, your digestion, your recovery, your sleep, everything. And the one thing that we all talk about, calories. That word everyone either fears or obsesses over. And let me explain what calories are, the simple truth for you. A calorie is just a unit of energy. That's all. It doesn't have personality traits. It's not evil. It doesn't care if it came from broccoli or chocolate. If you're in a calorie deficit, you'll lose weight. If you're in a calorie surplus, you'll gain weight. And if you're at maintenance, you should stay the same. It's that simple, but it's also that complicated. Because humans aren't robots. We don't live in a perfectly controlled lab. Our energy needs change every day based on our training, our hormones, stress, sleep, and activity. So that's why I always tell my clients, stop trying to eat like a spreadsheet, eat like a human being. Now let's talk metabolism. What actually is metabolism? Because this word gets thrown around more than dumbbells in a CrossFit gym. And your metabolism isn't broken. You don't need to hack it, reset it, or speed it up with lemon water. Metabolism simply means the chemical processes that keep you alive, the burning of energy to breathe, move, digest, repair, and function. And when people say, I've got a slow metabolism, what they often mean is that they're moving less, eating less, and their body's adapted to that lower energy intake. That's not broken. That's your smart biology. Your body is trying to survive. But you can influence your metabolism, not by magic diets, but through building muscle, because muscle burns more energy at rest. Eating enough protein, because it takes more energy to digest. Moving more, not just in the gym, your daily activity counts. And getting enough sleep, because sleep deprivation slows your metabolic efficiency. One thing I don't think we talk about enough is digestion. Because so many people eating healthy, but their gut is miserable. They get bloating, cramps, fatigue, unpredictable energy. These aren't just random symptoms. They're signs that your digestive system is struggling. The gut is where your body extracts all the nutrients from the food you eat. And if your digestion is off, even the best diet won't do much for you. That's why things like fiber, hydration, and variety matter. A diverse diet full of colourful plants literally feeds your gut microbiome, the little community of bacteria that helps with digestion, mood, and even immunity. And gut health has become such a trendy phrase lately, but it's not just about kombucha and yogurt ads. A healthy gut means balance, both in the foods you eat and the lifestyle you live. If you're constantly stressed, sleep deprived, and under-eating, your gut will show it. Your digestion will slow, your nutrient absorption drops, and inflammation rises. So if you've ever wondered why you feel bloated or sluggish when you're stressed, that's your body telling you it's overwhelmed. And food is only one part of gut health. Stress management, sleep, hydration, and recovery all play their role. Now let's break down the 3 big macronutrients, the ones that make up all your food. You have carbs. They're your body's favorite fuel source. They power your brain, muscles, and energy levels. And cutting carbs is like trying to drive your car on fumes and wondering why it won't start. Then you have protein. That's the builder. It repairs muscles, supports hormones, and keeps you full. Without enough of it, you'll struggle to recover, gain strength, or feel satisfied after meals. And fat is the supporter. It regulates your hormones, brain function, and joint health. You don't need to drown your salad in oil, but you do need some fat in your diet daily. You don't need to demonize any of these. You just need to balance them. One of the biggest issues I see, especially amongst women, is perfectionism around food. People think if they can't follow a plan perfectly, they've failed. So they start again on Monday. But there's no such thing as perfect nutrition. Food isn't about perfection. It's about patterns. What you eat consistently, most of the time, is what shapes your health. Not one takeaway, not one slice of carrot cake, and definitely not one missed salad. You don't ruin your progress with one bad meal, just like you don't transform your body with one good one. If you've ever felt guilty for eating something off plan, I want you to ask yourself this: where did that guilt come from? Because no one's born afraid of food. We learn that. We're taught that chocolate is bad, carbs are fattening, and that eating after 8 p.m. somehow breaks the laws of physics. But guilt doesn't make you disciplined. It just makes eating stressful. So instead of asking, is this food good or bad? Ask, does this food move me closer to feeling energized, strong, and healthy? That's what balance actually looks like. So now we've talked about the science behind food. Let's get into how to use it, how to actually build a meal that fuels your body, helps your performance, and still lets you enjoy life. And it starts with one thing: protein. And I say this to every client: if you focus on protein first, everything else falls into place. It's your anchor. It's the foundation of your plate. And honestly, it's the most underrated nutrient on the planet. Protein isn't just for people who lift weights or want to get bulky. It is for everyone. Protein is literally the building block of your body. Your muscles, your hair, your skin, hormones, enzymes, and immune system all depend on it. And it's also your best friend for fat loss because it keeps you full for longer and helps preserve the muscle mass when you're in a calorie deficit. And when people come to me and say, Alison, I'm always hungry, the first thing I ask is, how much protein are you actually eating? 9 times out of 10, it's nowhere near enough. So why is protein so powerful? When you eat protein, a few things happen that your body loves. You increase your thermic effect of food. Basically put, your body burns more calories digesting protein than carbs or fats. You stabilize your blood sugar, meaning fewer energy crashes and cravings. And you support muscle recovery, which keeps you performing better in your workouts. And no, you don't need to eat 200 grams of chicken every day or live off protein shakes. You just need to make sure that every meal and snack has a source of protein in it. So for example, breakfast. A lot of people start their day with toast or cereal, which is fine, but it's mostly carbs. Try adding Greek yogurt, eggs, or tofu scramble instead. And if you're vegan like me, go for soy yogurt, protein oats, or a smoothie with plant-based protein powder. At lunch, instead of just a salad, add beans, lentils, tuna, tofu, or a wrap with chicken or tempeh. And at dinner, think protein first. Could you add a piece of fish, some tofu, some legumes, or a protein-rich grain like quinoa? Small tweaks like that completely change how satisfied you'll feel and how well you'll recover. Now, I'm vegan, and that means I have to be mindful about where I get my protein. But being vegan doesn't mean being protein deficient. It just means being creative. People love to ask me, but Alison, where do you get your protein from? My answer is usually literally everywhere. Beans, lentils, chickpeas, tofu, tempeh, seitan, soy milk, nuts, seeds, protein pasta, you name it. And honestly, the variety keeps things very interesting. And when you're vegan, veggie, or omnivore, the goal's the same. Every meal should have a protein base. And here's another big one, protein timing. Your body can only use a certain amount of protein at once for muscle building and repair. So instead of eating one huge protein meal a day, spread it out. Aim for a source of protein every 3 to 4 hours, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a couple of snacks if needed. That way you're drip feeding your muscles and energy systems what they need throughout the day. So once you've locked in your protein, here's what the rest of your plate should look like. Half of your plate should be colourful fruits and veggies. That's where your vitamins, minerals, and fibre live. A quarter should be your carbs. Think rice, potatoes, pasta, wraps, oats, or bread. Carbs are fuel. They power your workouts and help you recover afterwards. And the last quarter should be your protein source. And add a thumb-sized serving of healthy fats, so avocados, nuts, olive oil, or seeds. That's your blueprint. Simple, balanced, and satisfying. So here's what that might look like day to day. Breakfast, tofu scramble on whole grain toast with spinach and tomatoes. Lunch, a chickpea and quinoa salad with colourful veg and olive oil dressing. Dinner is a tofu curry with rice and mixed veg. And snacks, soy yogurts with berries and a few squares of dark chocolate. That's how I eat. Not fancy, not restrictive, just consistent. And here's what that might look like day to day for an omnivore. Breakfast, scrambled eggs with spinach and grilled tomatoes on whole grain toast and a cup of coffee with milk. Lunch could be a grilled chicken or turkey wrap with hummus, lettuce, cucumber and grated carrot, plus a side of Greek yogurt with berries. And dinner could be pan-fried salmon with roasted potatoes, mixed vegetables like broccoli, beans and peppers. And your snacks could be a handful of nuts mid-morning, cottage cheese with fruit mid-afternoon, and a few squares of dark chocolate after dinner. And that's balanced eating, satisfying, colourful, and full of real food that fuels your performance and fits your lifestyle. And when you build your plate this way, something powerful happens. You stop obsessing over what you can't eat, and you start focusing on what you can. That shift from restriction to construction is the foundation of long-term success. When you look at food as fuel, you stop seeing meals as traps and you see them as opportunities. Now let's talk about carbs, because if I had £1 for every time someone told me they were cutting carbs to lose weight, I'd have a private island by now. And the truth is that carbs don't make you fat. Overeating makes you fat. Carbs are your body's preferred energy source. Especially if you're training, working long hours, or generally trying to live life like a functioning adult. Your brain runs on glucose, your muscles store it as glycogen, and when you train, you burn it. When you refuel properly, you perform better and recover faster. Cutting carbs is like trying to drive across country without petrol. Sure, you'll get moving, but you won't get far. And I had a client who hadn't eaten pasta in years because she thought it would make her gain weight. But it was one of her favourite foods, and we slowly added it back in, sensible portions, balanced with protein and veg. And within weeks, she felt her energy improve, her workouts felt better, and she actually lost body fat because her metabolism picked up again. And that's what smart fueling looks like. So if you've been afraid of carbs or trying to eat as little as possible, stop punishing your body for needing fuel. You don't earn food. You don't have to work off dinner. You feed your body because it deserves to be looked after. So now that we've got your plate balanced and your protein sorted, let's talk about how to actually fuel your training and your life properly. Because let's be honest, nutrition isn't just about what you eat when you're hungry. It's about how your body performs and how you recover and how you feel when you wake up the next day. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that only athletes need to fuel. I hear it all the time. I'm not a pro athlete. I don't need to worry about that. But you do. Because fueling isn't just about smashing PBs or training twice a day. It's about being able to function at your best, physically and mentally, whatever your life looks like. If you've got kids, a job, a home to run, a dog to walk, or a body that you want to feel good in, that's enough reason to fuel properly, right? Your body doesn't care if you're training for the Olympics or training to survive Mondays. It still needs energy, hydration, and nutrients to perform. So let's talk about how to adjust what you eat around your activity. You don't need to overhaul your diet every day. It's about small tweaks that match your energy needs. So on training days, make sure you've eaten before your session. Carbs and protein are key. Refuel after with another balanced meal or snack. And hydrate consistently, not just when you remember. And on rest days, keep your protein the same. Slightly reduce your carbs if you're less active, but don't cut them out completely. And focus on micronutrients and hydration to support recovery. Your rest days aren't days off. They're when your body actually adapts and gets stronger. So what should you eat before your training? You want something that gives you energy without sitting heavy in your stomach. So think carbs plus protein and keep fat and fiber lower right before exercise so digestion's easier. Some great examples are protein oats or porridge with fruit, a smoothie with banana, protein powder and plant or dairy milk, a small chicken, egg or tofu wrap, or if you're short on time, a banana and a protein shake. If you train first thing in the morning and can't stomach food before, that's okay. Just make sure you fuel after with something substantial. And after training, your body's top priority is recovery. That means refilling that glycogen store and repairing muscle tissue. So this is where carbs and protein come back into play. You can have a proper meal like rice and chicken or tofu with veg, Greek yogurt with fruit and oats, a smoothie with banana, soy milk and peanut butter. And here's something important. You don't need to eat within exactly 27.5 minutes or you'll miss the window. That old myth came from bodybuilding circles. As long as you eat within a reasonable time, you're fine. The key thing is to feed your body back what you've asked it to give you. Now, if you're a parent, work long shifts, or just live a normal, chaotic life, you're probably thinking, yeah, Alison, this all sounds lovely, but when exactly am I supposed to eat? I get it. That's real life. So here's how you make fueling work for you, not against you. Batch cook your proteins. Grill some chicken, tofu, or fish in bulk. Use frozen veg. It's just as nutritious as fresh and saves you time. And keep carbs simple. Microwave rice, wraps, oats, or potatoes. And have backup snacks, nuts, yogurts, or protein bars. You don't need a personal chef or a meal prep Instagram account. You just need some go-to options that make it easy to say yes to eating well. Now let's be honest. There are a few common mistakes I see all the time when it comes to fueling and recovery. You're not eating after training because you're trying to save calories, or eating way too little on rest days, or training fasted and wondering why you're lightheaded halfway through, or drinking loads of coffee but barely any water, and thinking recovery is only for athletes. These aren't signs of dedication, they're signs that your body's running on empty. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't perform, build muscle, or lose fat efficiently if your body doesn't have the energy to do it. If you've ever thought, I'm doing everything right, but nothing's changing, it might not be your workouts. It might be your fuel. And while we're here, water. Please drink it. Hydration affects everything. Energy, performance, digestion, sleep, and recovery. Aim for at least 2 to 3 litres a day. More if you're active or it's hot. And if you're training hard, consider adding some electrolytes or a pinch of salt to your water. Coffee is great, trust me, I know. But it's not hydration. Okay, maybe the first one counts emotionally. So let's take a second right now and think about how you've fueled yourself this week. Have you eaten enough? Have your meals been balanced, colourful and satisfying? Or have you skipped meals, grabbed snacks, and ended up wondering why you feel drained? Your energy reflects how you've been fueling, and your performance reflects how much you respect your recovery. All right, let's wrap this up with something I think is really important to understand about nutrition. Your mindset around food matters just as much as what's on your plate. Because here it is, food isn't just fuel, it's culture, it's emotion, it's comfort, it's connection. And that means your relationship with it will always be personal. But when you shift from seeing food as a battle to seeing food as support, everything changes. Nutrition is about rhythm, not restriction. You don't have to eat perfectly every day. You just have to show up with consistency and self-respect. When you eat something that makes you feel good, physically and mentally, that's healthy. When you eat something that fuels you for what you love doing, that's healthy. And when you have pizza with friends, cake for your kid's birthday, or a glass of wine on a Friday, that's healthy too. Because health isn't about perfection. It's about balance, moderation, and awareness. If you've ever finished eating something and immediately felt guilty, I want you to take a breath and ask yourself, did I enjoy it? Am I nourished? Am I ready to move forward? That guilt doesn't serve you. It doesn't burn calories or build muscle. It just steals your joy. Food guilt is one of the biggest mindset barriers to lasting change. And I've seen it stop so many amazing people from truly enjoying life. So here's my advice. Give yourself permission to enjoy food again. You can eat mindfully and have freedom, and you can enjoy chocolate and still hit your goals. And you can care about your health and still love food. I learned this lesson the hard way. When I first became vegan, I was so focused on doing it right that I overthought every meal. I was reading every label, overanalyzing protein sources, and trying to find and be the perfect athlete. But over time, I realized that perfection was just another form of control, and control isn't confidence. Now I eat to fuel my body. I eat to perform. I eat to enjoy life. I still love my dark chocolate. I'll always order a plate of chips when I fancy one, and I don't feel bad about it because I know how much good I do for my body the rest of the time. And that's what balance looks like. And that's what I want for you. Take a second now, wherever you are. Maybe you're walking, cooking, driving, at the gym, and think about your own relationship with food. When was the last time you ate without overthinking it? When was the last time you enjoyed a meal without tracking, judging, or compensating for it later? That's what this whole episode's been about. Letting go of the noise. Fuel yourself because you deserve to feel strong. Eat with intention, not guilt. And trust that consistency will always beat perfection. So here's your challenge for this week. At your next meal, stop, take a breath, and build your plate with purpose. Start with protein. Add color. Add carbs. Add a little fat. Then eat slowly. Actually taste your food. And when you finish, notice how you feel. That's your feedback loop. That's how you learn what your body loves. Because the more you listen to your body, the less you'll need to listen to the noise. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of The Fundamentals of Fitness. If this episode has helped you cut through the confusion and remind you that good nutrition doesn't have to be complicated, share it with someone you care about. Because we all know someone who's been stuck with the nutrition noise. Remember, food is fuel, not punishment. You don't need a detox tea, fad diets, or meal replacements. You need real food, balance, and belief in yourself. I'm Alison Beresford, and if you're ready to learn how to train smarter, eat better, and feel unstoppable, head over to abperformance.training. And as always, keep training hard, eating smart, and chasing your gold medal moments. I'll see you next Monday.